Alright guys, Michael Borders here with the Michael Borders channel. We are going to change out the oil pan gasket on a 95 Toyota Celica. As you can see, I am leaking some good oil, and it's also spraying on the AC compressor right there and getting oil everywhere. So 10mm bolts, whole bunch of them. Go ahead and before you undo those, this is the drain plug. Go ahead and drain out all of your oil, let it drip for a while. You may have to remove your rain guard, that plastic piece, just a couple screws, and we'll get going. Hey guys, we are going to not only change our oil, but we're going to flush the oil system with this motor flush. And make sure your car engine is cold, and directions state that with a cold engine you want to add this entire container into your oil, let it run for 5 minutes, and do not drive your vehicle. After 5 minutes you will undo the drain plug on the oil pan and you will drain out all that oil. What this is going to do is it's going to kind of eat away at that grime inside your oil system and flush it out. So again, we're going to pour this where the oil is poured into the engine, the crank case or the valve cover. Top part of the engine, right where the oil goes into, just unscrew this. And you're going to pour it right into there. And be careful, try not to spill it. Okay, I've poured the flush solvent into the engine. Let it run again for 5 minutes. Do not drive it, just let it run at idle. And after 5 minutes, we'll go down below and we'll undo the drain plug and let it all drain out. Okay, we let the engine run 5 minutes. Now we're going to use 15mm socket, put it on the drain plug. We're going to take that off. We got the oil pan in place, and that's going to run out. Be cautious because before the bolt even comes off the pan, it's going to start leaking. So what I would do is just kind of pull it off slowly, let it start leaking a little bit until you can get it off. Alright, it's draining pretty good, as you can see. Alright guys, once you've got the oil drained out, grab those 10mm bolts and get all those out. There's quite a lot of them, go all the way around, and cautiously remove them and pull that oil pan off. Okay, as you can see, I've got the pan off. Now take some time and thoroughly clean the edges of, or the surface of that part where the oil pan and gasket will be reinstalled. Again, clean this thoroughly. Alright, here's the oil pan out, and I'm going to wipe down everything. I'm going to clean the heck out of this, and also the surface under here where the gasket's going to go back on. You want to clean that. Make sure that is completely dry and clean. Alright guys, a sneak peek at the pan once we got it all cleaned out and thoroughly, you know, the edges or the surface of the pan. Get all that previous gasket, sealant, and gasket off there. And Mason's down below. He is helping me get the other part all cleaned up. After that, we're gonna put on the sealant. Yeah. Guys, next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna use this ultra black sealant, and this is designed specifically for oil gaskets, and it's just an oil repellent, or it's one of the best repellents to oil as far as sealant. And we are going to put a fine line along the surface of the pan. We're going to put the gasket on top, and then we're going to put another fine line on the gasket, and I'll walk you through it. Alright, and there is the sealant now. I'm going to put on the gasket. Alright, got the sealant on the bottom side and kind of just rubbed it in a little bit, put the gasket on, and then I put the top coat on. And now before this dries, start heading over to your car, get underneath and put this back on. And you'll notice when you get underneath there's a couple prongs that stick out that allow you to align this properly, as you noticed when you pulled all those screws out. there were a couple nuts that the stud stayed on the actual car, and that'll help you align it. Alright guys, once you get the oil pan back on those little prongs that stick out, hand tighten each of the bolts up until they're flush, and then go on each corner, tighten them, and don't go in a line because you're going to offset it. Alright guys, and here is the new oil drain plug and the gasket. We're going to install that. This was only like $1.99. So make sure you go out of your way and replace that as well. Get yourself a new gasket. Alright, we've got this open. We've let the oil drain out. Now we're going to pull off the filter, which is below, however, up top, but you're going to have to access it from below. Okay, next, we went out and bought some AutoZone 10W30. Refer to your manual for the proper amount of quarts into the engine, and we're going to pour the oil. For this is 4 quarts. Okay, up there you can see the screw point where the oil filter connects on. Where that metal piece of the engine is showing the surface, go ahead and clean that thoroughly. Make sure that's all dry and free of any debris. Alright, Mason right now is going to grab the new filter, and he's going to take a little bit of the old oil from the filter ring, and he's going to lubricate the new oil filter ring. That's going to help you when you screw it on to the actual engine. It's going to help lubricate it and somewhat seal the new gasket onto the engine. So that's it. That's all you got to do. Next thing, we'll go back underneath and tighten it. Alright, next thing, I've got the filter on, and this is a pretty important part. Go ahead and screw it on until it's flush and it becomes a little bit firm, and just turn it a quarter turn. Just like that, okay? And that's going to properly seal the filter onto the engine. Alright guys, after you put in the oil, check the dipstick right here and make sure that you have the proper amount of oil. It's in the safe zone. And go ahead and start the engine, let it idle for a couple minutes. And what we'll do is we'll shut the engine off, check the dipstick again, and you should be all set. Guys, thanks for watching. Do me a favor, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and if you want to support, there's a support tab as well. We'll keep these videos coming. Thanks guys.